Well, build my gallows and build them high. Makes a long time climbing before I die. I want the chance. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Longbangers in association with Leaf Spirits. I'm Matty.
No, I am Colin.
And I'm John.
And just to explain for anybody watching on YouTube, Colin, there's no video because we can't quite get to the bottom of it. But basically, when Colin speaks, you hear his words about 30 seconds before you see him saying them, and it's very disconcerting. So we thought it's probably better for everybody just to keep his camera off. And people often say it would be better if he kept his camera off, but we do have a specific reason for it this time.
Just us two, because he's the most handsome of the three of us.
Aye, I mean this is better for us. Right, where do we even fucking start? Another defeat, bottom of the league. Another capitulation. Another snatching defeat for the Jaws of victory. Another second booking for a midfielder, changing the game. Another David Gray coming out afterwards saying we're going to have to learn lessons from it and it's no good enough. I think we're not going to spend too long talking about the game. We're going to get wired right into the talking points because there's loads of them. And I think when you have a game like this, it's important to kind of hear what the fans are saying. It's not really so much about what we have to say about it. It's about what everybody else has got to say about it. But I suppose let's just get your views on the game very briefly before we get into it. John, I'll come to you first. What happened?
In what context? What are you actually asking me here?
Well, you take it in whichever way you interpret it.
I thought we started brightly, thought we conceded. In fact, let's go back right to the kickoff. One of the things that we've been talking about for a wee while, and I'm loath to single out individuals, but within the first 15, 20 seconds, Lewis Miller finds himself facing goal, caught in possession, bundled over. And then a weak opening goal came down that side. We did well to get back in the game. Actually, Miller redeemed himself a wee bit by nodding it across the goal for Ahora to get onto. We did find ourselves 2-1 down, but fortunately VAR ruled out. I never actually saw any lines or whatever, so I think it was ruled out for offside. And
I think we needed to draw the lines, Johnny was comfortably off.
Yeah. Found ourselves ahead with a really good cross from Jordan Abita. Really good finish for Marcus Gale. Dwight Gale, sorry, I'm confusing him with his older cousin. And then Joe Newell gets sent off. We find ourselves under the cosh, under pressure, a man down, and just chuck it. I thought Joe Newell's booking was a wee bit harsh, however, like the initial challenge I thought was fine. Like I don't think there's been any intent to injure his opponent, but he's gone over the ball, he's caught the boy. Referees looked at it some 15 seconds later, sent him off, and then that like we just folded. I think, or I don't know rather. Cadden, I don't know the extent of Cadden's injury. I don't know the extent to which Cadden's injury and shuffling the back, plus the sending off, allowed Dundee United down the left-hand side for the equaliser. Bursik's done a David Marshall, and he's just kind of palmed it straight to their player's feet, and then he's made an absolute James Hunt it, coming for the ball at the end, and their players really clever finish, just lifted it over, and it was a really good comeback for them. But we've done what we've done for several weeks, months, if not years, and just folded.
Pretty good summary, to be fair. Colin, what about you? What did you think it?
I just thought, here we fucking go. Like, again, like we've changed the team, we changed the manager, and we get the same fucking results. It's the same fucking thing. Stuck a ball in the box, and we'll help you score.
Mm.
I mean, it's just like calamitous stuff. And I knew I got sent off. But when you talking about the second yellow, John, you thought it was maybe at first view and harsh? Because I thought the first one was more harsh than the second one. I thought the second one probably is definitely a yellow.
I thought the first one it's a funny
Didn't
one because
connect with the boy.
he's coming in for the side, and it did look at first glance like Middleton started to go down before Newell's made any sort of contact. I didn't think that was a booking. I
Nah,
definitely didn't think it was a booking, but and especially
it
because
could
I
be.
think it was Joe Newell's first challenge, and the commentary of the game that I was watching highlighted some attention that their right back had been given Junior Hoylett and
Mhm.
had never been booked.
I know. It was one of them, eh? You do wonder sometimes, you think, is it the fourth foul that gets booked? And why do we then go make the fourth foul? You know what I mean? It's like the first three, you're golden, you're fine. No worries, do what you want. And then you go and then make contact with the boy and you get booked. But then, you know what? It probably is a booking. But the other, it doesn't, it's all the two wrongs doesn't make a right thing. And it's his first tackle. But if you make a bad tackle, you're meant to get booked. It's not meant to be a boot when it's your first tackle and stuff. The referees can change that rule when they want, can't they? That's when it comes down to it. I've not listened to the referees podcast yet. I see it's there, but they only do be backing the refs on that one. And I think Neil's just got to be more careful, especially the second one. The second one's fucking a terrible touch, and then when they stood her up like that, you might even get a red card sometimes, depending on who the ref is.
See with that second yellow. I mentioned this yesterday. I think there's a case to be made for instructing referees to give a straight red, and then because then VAR can get involved and say, either it's you are going to have another look at this referee because they can downgrade it. They can't get involved if it's a yellow card. VAR, right? So see if you're sending a player off for a second yellow, give them a straight red, and then go and check it. And if they check it and go, actually, it wasn't a straight red, it's a second yellow, they're still getting sent off anyway. You can go back and correct that on the pitch. But if it's no a booking, you're no sending them off for it. And it's that kind of they always ask about VAR getting involved for the second yellows. I think that's one way to kind of deal with that situation. Is
That's a good shout.
just instruct the referees, give them a straight red, and then VAR can look at it. And I think he still would have been sent off though. I think it
I
was
think he would have 100% got yelled for that.
I think it's a booking because of the way he catches the boy and the way that he goes into the tackle. I think it is a booking. I thought it was harsh at the time, and then I watched it back. I was like, that's sort of green tinted specs. I think a wee bit. I think it was a booking.
And see if he gave him straight red there. Like, depending on what the rule is that week with the refs, what they're allowed. They might even overturn it for straight red because they go, no, ref interpretation.
I just think it gives them the opportunity to look at it if they do that. And then the goals we concede, Colin, for Jank.
Brutal. All three. I mean, the first one I'm watching it and it's just middling. You know what I mean? We've seen how shite he was, right? Or how shite we made him. He must have ran for halfway just for Miller. And nobody came over to help Miller when he's clearly not making it. Clearly not catching the ball. Nobody came over to bail him out.
Aye.
A simple wee ball across. And O'Hara looked on the wrong side of the defender to me. The goal scorer to me. Obviously they looked for offside on that. It wasn't given, but I'm thinking, well, he's not offside. Then how did nobody else intercept it? Like another centre half or Ekiteta or the goalie get out to block it for it to get there. But then when it got there, why are you fucking go offside? That was pish. Second one, was that just the ball in the box that just fucking landed it?
Aye, keepers flapped out.
It's like a standard goal we lose. That's just a goal, a ball bouncing about the box, and it's always one of their players that are ready to knock it in. And then the last one, as John already described, like fuck not what the goalie's doing. Like it's not even high. You'd almost have to duck to punch it, like because it's more a catch in the fucking chest area. But if he's punched anything, it's the Hibs defender. I can't remember who. He's punched in the neck.
He definitely made contact with Iredale. I don't know how many minutes before, but it seemed that there was a breakdown in communication there. I don't know, like I think Iredale went to duck out the way of it, and Bursik's got enough on the ball that when he's actually, although he's lost control of it, he's been on the deck and then gathered it again. And I don't know whether that's what's happened for their third.
Aye, it's just a shambles.
But either way, like he's. I think one of your many quotes, Colin, like he's come out, he's so far out off his line at that point, like he is beyond, I want to say, the penalty spot. You've got to think, like, if you're coming that far, that you're going to be clearing it. And I don't know whether it's just the circumstances. We've made an absolute meal of it, like everyone involved. And it's landed to one of their players' foots in a neat feed. neat finish.
It was a nice wee finish, like, but I mean, fuck's sake, if the goalie's like 12 fucking yards off his line,
Mm-hmm.
or his
Oh,
knees,
it's a neat finish into an empty net.
Aye, you're saving it if you're in position. You're saving that. What about the goals we scored, Colin? You happy with them? Well, obviously it's like a fucking stupid question, but what did you think of the goals that we scored?
They were good goals. Like, it was a nice sort of set piece. Newell to Miller, wasn't it? Nice header back across. Assuming that was deliberate, I think it was.
Mhm.
And then good header for Horror. And then there was a cracking ball for the beater, like I think John's already said, for Michelle Gill's laddie to put the header into the roof of the net. Bounced in on it. Aye, good goals. Good goals. See the goal that got chopped off for them as well. I know he was offside, right? Middleton was comfortably offside there. But that was just another ball in the box. The boy had the fucking free header.
Aye, straightforward cross,
wasn't it? At the time. Oh man, just like so shit. Our goals were actually decent compared to theirs. Like, but you didn't get fucking extra points for quality.
No. I was a bit annoyed that the linesman never flagged for that offside. Because it was VAR, they were ready to kick off, but it wasn't one of these ones came by the linesman and puts his flag up after the event and goes, I've let it play, but he was offside. And that's what the linesman should have seen that. I thought he was well enough offside that I should have been flagged and then checked rather than VAR going, I don't know, minute, didn't he start? And we'll check it.
As I said when I'd interrupted John earlier, like, they didn't put the lines on it on the telly because it was that fucking obvious. It was just like, just look at it and you can see he's off. They only put the lines on when it's close.
Right. I'm going to just get wired into these talking points because there's loads of them, and I think a lot of the frustration will come out as we go through. Right, so Greenest Goblinus is the first one. Just asked, how has there not been an organised protest yet? John, how far away do you think we are from organised protests? Right, sitting bottom of the league, obviously the Shan season last season. Things aren't looking any better.
When's the derby?
Sunday. Are we at that stage, or is it a case of we're going to get to Sunday?
No,
You're going to see that?
What would it protesting about?
Being shite.
Aye, right, we're getting that.
What do we want? Not to be shite. When do we want it? Fucking ASAP, please.
I want banners outside the main stand at Easter Road. Main stand outside Easter Road to see "Be More Good." That's all I want.
But if you're protesting, normally it's to, like, I don't know, sack the board or something. Like, is that what we're sacking? That, like, sell the club. We demand you sell the club. Like, what is that? I don't know. What we need to actually to have a protest. You would normally have an aim, I guess.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what the aim here is.
So need to agree an objective first, and then see if there's a movement behind it.
What do we want? Be More Good. When do we want it? Soon.
Fucking now.
Soonish.
If you didn't laugh about it, fucking hell. Right, I'll move on. Mikey Love says, maybe I'm just struggling after last season and this season, but if you compare the relegation squad to this season's, I would only pick 3 of this season's over them. And he sent a team line in, and the 3 from this squad: Boyle, Johan, and Cadden. The rest is so this is the team that he's got, the combined relegation season and this season team. Williams in goal, Stevenson at left back, Cadden right back, Hanlon and McPake centre halves, Kevin Thompson, Scott Robertson, and Liam Craig is the midfield 3. Ewan on the left, Boyle on the right, and James Collins up front. Any thoughts on that? Would you be making any other changes?
But James Collins, anybody.
Well,
that's a good
Kukovic.
turnaround there. Hey, you get better. You get better all when you're not here.
You get better when you're not playing.
I spent hours defending that boy on Hibs.net, and everybody thought he was pish. But now he's in the combined best of the shitest team we've had.
Well, so would you play Kukovic ahead of him?
I might play Gale ahead of him.
Right.
I might play Kukovic. I don't know. Maybe I would. I don't know. I can't remember. I can't remember how good Collins was to be up there. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Kukovic is really. He's not set the heather on fire, is he? And I think we've got our hopes up probably that he was going to be the answer. But
is it a surprise that Kukovic has to set the heather on fire?
No, really. Not to me, massively, because he didn't score loads of goals the last time. I probably expected more though, like to create more havoc.
What was his record here previously? Was it 1-5 or something he had?
It's hard to
Albeit
chuck
there
them
was
in there.
there were a
Just
few
won't
that
keep
were
chucking them in.
excluded.
Aye, won't keep chucking that in when you say, because I don't know if it's 1-5 as a career overall or what it was the last time, but because he got about 4 or 5, 6 goals disallowed the last time, that's kind of clouding folk judgment of what he actually done, I think. But I don't know. Like, we've really got to get into comparing the fucking like Scott Robertson over Cohen or Liam Craig over Triantha.
Nah, I know.
You know what I mean?
I thought it was a good point though. Like, I mean, it'd be interesting to see what other folks' lineups were if they tried to kind of combine the two squads. But I don't know. I wonder, like, without. Okay, I'm not trying to look for positives or anything like that after it's been a pretty horrendous run. But you look at the last two games, Motherwell and Dundee United, we've been a better team for like a good chunk of those games. Both opposition managers have come out and said it after the game as well. Jim Goodwin said we were well on top in sort of 10, 15 minutes before we got our second goal. Both games changed on a sending off for us, and then we've gone on to lose them. And it's not like we've been battered in these games. So, like, there's obviously an issue that we're not able to see out games and we're conceding soft goals and no scoring when we're on top. But we're also like, we're no, it sounds stupid, right? We're not a million miles off of it either when you look at maybe 75 minutes of the game. And obviously the problem is that a game's 90 minutes.
That's you. I totally agree. And I've just recorded it for the BBC earlier, right? And they asked me, have you seen improvement? And I'm like, it sounds mental, right? But we actually are competing in these games and we're in these games, but we just didn't score enough and we let too many in. And I know it's fucking basic and silly and stupid, but it doesn't feel like we're out of these games, but we're like not capable sort of converting or defending or whatever in the crucial moments. Like the crucial bits of the game, that's where we just go, we falter in a Motherwell or a Dundee or Dundee United manage to do something. And it's just the vital moments. And I know it's all back to the fine margin stuff and all that, but it's like, we're not that shite. I didn't think we're that shite. Well, I just think we're missing something, and I don't know what it is.
I suppose the problem is because we're missing that thing. That's what is making us shite, though.
Yeah,
we're bottom of the league, and we're bottom of the league because of these things. And like until we get them fixed, we're going to continue to be shite. John, Ian Toghill said rating was on the wall after the Kelty debacle. Yet again, recruitment was poor. Mackay never even took his place till midway through the window. Players brought in are arguably worse than those let go. We kept the dross, added more, and now we are fucked. What do you think?
I said to you on Saturday, didn't ask me any difficult questions because I've got nothing. I genuinely have little more to add than what we've discussed for numerous seasons about numerous managers, about numerous players, about the backroom. Colin, you and I had a wee bit of a battle towards the end of last season when we were talking about Montgomery and we were talking about not sacking more managers. Okay, so what needs to change off the pitch? There's been a wee bit of change off the pitch. The only thing that I think I've got is a tiny little bit of optimism that we need to give the changes that have been discussed a little bit of time to try and improve. Beyond that, I genuinely have nothing because I think one of the comments that you've made over numerous numerous seasons, if you like, of the podcast, numerous managers, is we've gone backwards. We've gone backwards under X. Well, we can't go much further backwards than we are right now, bottom of the league. The only step backwards after that is the championship. So I genuinely don't know. Like I don't disagree with any of Ian's points. I don't disagree with any of the questions that folk are asking. I've got nothing.
Fair enough. Elston Paul Collin said, surely Kit Gordon must see how much Ron's legacy and vision has been turned into a complete pile of shite by her son and the other three in the Golden Croissant. Time to sit down and have a talk with him. Are we at that stage now where Kit Gordon needs to kind of sit down and pull her son out of the decision making process or the firing line, whatever you want to call it, and get other folk in.
I don't know. I don't really know what he does now. Like, because he's not the head of recruitment anymore, is he? That's David Marshall and Malcolm Mackay. So I don't know. Like, what is his role? And we don't really know who to blame anymore. Like, I think that's maybe why there's so many people getting the blame now. It's just a bit fucking repetitive. I really don't know. Like, we're not answering many of your questions here, or any of the answers, the listeners' questions, because everybody wants to last shoot, but nobody can shoot the last shoot at.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think when you look at it and say, right, if you're looking at who's responsible for where we're at the now, and try to piece it together, I think it is difficult because you've got go back to what you were saying, John, right, about wanting a change. So we got the change in the summer. Montgomery left. Gray came in interim first. Brian McDermott left. Malcolm Mackay came in. Recruited Gray permanently. Brought in David Marshall. The idea of him was that Ian Gordon, Ben Kensel were removed for the football decision-making process. In theory, the football side hasn't worked. There's probably a strong case to say, like, whoever it was, whether it was Malcolm Mackay or somebody else, there's not been enough time for them to go and make a difference in that role, because a sporting director role looks at everything that underpins the football operation. The head coach role doesn't look like that's been a success yet, and it is still early days. Like, what, we've about 15 games in total that Gray's had, give or take. What we eight or nine, I can't remember, 8 or 9 league games and the League Cup games. So there's not been a long time there, but the results have not been good. And the recruitment, so it's all new players. Like, it's no your Stevenson, your Hanlon, your David Marshall, the folk that were getting the blame last season, they've moved on. It's new players in that are, mostly new players that started yesterday. Still a couple of, like, we'll come on to the talking points, still a couple of players that are sort of carrying a bit of blame for it. But where do you point the finger, Colin?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. There's, for the reasons, like, Malcolm Mackay's in for a longer term thing. The manager's been in 8 league games. Ian Gordon's not in, to my knowledge, in the recruitment process anymore. That's now Marshall and Mackay. So is it maybe try to blame somebody and, like, actually let change happen?
I mean, there is an argument for that, isn't it? Like, we're sort of like in a fucking the cliched transitional season, John. Is that what it is? Are we in transition?
We are. Sorry, can I answer? I think yes, but we've never been as we've tried to be clear on it, right? No, but we still got to say top 6 and hopefully European football. Actually, it's almost like, let's be the best of the worst teams, because next year we'll get rid of the 14 players, 12, 13, 14, fucking however many we've got in the books, and then we can do the real change. And I don't think that's sunk in. And sacking a manager now, right, which is why the fucking BBC has to go on, which is why we're getting loads of talking points and why loads of folk are saying it. What is that going to do? Like, bring somebody in and we sit with the same players that can't. Now, the goals we're losing aren't because a fucking a playing methodology or a fucking philosophy identity, or any of that. Identity. That's because cunts can't concentrate. Or don't want to put their body on the line. That's not because we've not played it out for the back, or because he plays a long ball, because we're putting crosses in. That's because we can't defend. We can't keep our fucking brain switched on for a whole game. That's what happened with the next manager, because they can't do it.
Fucking depressing. I suppose, John, it is depressing, isn't it? Like, I was thinking, see, we were coming to record this tonight. All day I've been sort of thinking about how do you have that conversation again? Like, when the same thing keeps happening over and fucking over, and it's different people involved, and I mean, it's easy to go back to the constants, right, and go, well, you know, it's Ben Kensel, it's Ian Gordon, and it is easy to point a finger at them, but at the same time, we just like spoke about the changes that have been made to kind of remove them for specifically the stuff that's going shite at the moment. John, the idea of it being a transitional season or that you can't sack the manager is part of the argument that whoever's next, right? And I'm not just to be absolutely clear, I'm not saying that we're saying sack the manager or anything, but is a line of thinking that because of the noise from Black Knights after David Gray, Malcolm Mackay were appointed, the listen to us now narrative that Bill Foley spun, is the line of thinking being that whoever's next isn't going to be picked by Ian Gordon and Ben Kensel or Malcolm Mackay. It's going to be a group appointment.
I don't even know about that. The feedback to the club about the Black Knight and Bill Foley comments in particular was, you've got a billionaire who wants his own way, and he's going to shoot from the hip. I forget the exact wording that was used, but the reason that Gray and Mackay were appointed was because it was a club appointment. That was the direction that they went. That was the direction that they wanted, and they are the majority shareholder. So, what would stop the majority shareholders appointing the manager next time?
Well, does this go back to Erston Paul's point about Kit saying the news didn't get to make the next decision? Like, we need to.
But how would a minority? Excuse my ignorance. This is a question from ignorance. But how could a minority shareholder demand that or stipulate that?
So they're not. But what you're looking for them there is for them not to demand it, but for Ian Gordon and Ben Kensel and Malcolm Mackay to say, "Can you just come in and help us here?" So they get invited in to make the decision rather than sort of saying, you know, they're not going to stamp their feet and demand it because that'll no work because they didn't have the right to do that.
Does that require a certain level of humility? And how confident are you that they have that level of humility to say, actually, we need more help?
It does require it, and very low in confidence. To answer your question. But I think that's the thing. I spent a lot of time reading Hibs Net and the Bounce today, and there was like a lot of the line of thought was they need to just hand over the decision making to folk who look like they know what they're doing. I mean, Auckland kicked off for the first time with a win. Got praise for the league for how they've integrated the community and brought everybody on board with them, and you know, seemingly started with a great success. Bournemouth just turned over Arsenal 2-0. They're sitting, I think, 10th in the Premier League. Lorient, despite being relegated last season, now the Black Knights are in charge of them. From what I gathered, they're sitting top of their league. There's probably an argument to be made to say Hibs should be going out and going cap in hand to say help us out. Right. Or anyway, I think we're covering old ground here. Elliot Scott says won't change if we're playing players that wouldn't get a game in the juniors. In brackets, Josh Campbell. Right. Do we have a problem with the quality players, John? And not to single Josh Campbell out. I know Elliot did there, but is the quality of the squad the part of the issue?
We're bottom of the league. We've won one game in 8. We have scored, I think, 3 goals away from home. I think we've been getting progressively worse for the last 4 or 5 seasons. Like, I think the evidence is there.
Yep. Colin McCann, the man, said, thing is, the board are goosed either way. Stick with David Gray or sack him. The fans are going to rebel anytime soon, if not already. Time to take the blame up a notch or two. I suppose that goes back to what we're talking about with the protests.
Yeah. But when they say the blame up a notch or two, they mean away from the manager, do you think?
I don't know if it's going higher than the manager.
Because I'm surprised.
I think that's what it's been.
The amount of people that jumped on it last night to sack the manager. Like I am, and I know we're bottom of the league, and I know we've been like John's just spell it out there. But I think and I know what he done as a player, what he done that shouldn't he, but he's got a standing with the fans.
Yeah.
Surprised the amount of folk that went straight in to chop his fucking head off. Like, where we spoke about it before, saying that me and John agreed, despite disagreeing about Monty, we agreed that we needed to change more than just the manager. We've done that, but we need to give it time as well. Like, that was the bit that it's like, there is no time. Nobody's willing to give time. And the manager's just doing what he can with what he's got. And I actually didn't think this is fucking mental, like, because the stats and that show it. We are bottom of the league. We competed, and I know Rangers are shite, but Rangers are still third in the league. We competed for Rangers, and we were all quite positive. We thought the window we were better after. We thought we were better after the window with the quality of the squad. And I think we are competing in games, and we're generally look like, if you were just watching it without counting the score, you'd think we were the better side. But we've got fucking multiple lapses of concentration in us. And I was listening to a lot of the radio yesterday during the game, and Stuart and that were talking about it, and they were just like, you just let Hibs have the ball because they're not doing anything. That was, and that was almost exactly what Mikey said. It wasn't like, I'm not even paraphrasing that much. It was almost like, let them have it. I mean, we've got to get the field now. We've got Tran and Kwon and Trianta. Sorry, I just created a new name for them.
Nice one. Yeah.
I see when they're good, we can use that. Right? But you've got them, but they didn't create goals or anything. They didn't score. Ken, what I mean? It's like they're not doing anything. Like we didn't miss. It's not like we're missing loads of chances. We didn't create that many. Like, so teams just go, have the boys, though, they fuck away, and we'll just chuck one in your box, and you will make a mistake, and we will score. But other than that, like, we actually look all right.
Other than the glaring deficiencies when we're doing too bad.
But that's what I mean, though. We're actually all right. And, like, man for man, you look at teams. But look at it, we're doing the previous show, and we're saying to folks, send your team lines in, and everybody's getting 9 and 10 right. Like, that's the team that's getting picked, is the team that the majority would pick, give or take. Lewis Miller versus Cadden, or playing the 10, or playing somebody to position in the 10, or playing Molotnikov in the 10, whatever, right? Other than that, everybody's kind of agreeing with the bulk of the team. And so, we're hammering the manager for picking the team that everybody else would have picked.
Aye. So, like, if you look at, just to kind of back up what you're saying there, Colin, and again, stats didn't tell you the whole story, right? Yesterday, and this is from the SofaScore app. Excuse me. Ball possession 46%, Dundee United 54 Hibs. Big chances 2 each. Total shots 8 each. Goalkeeper saves 2 to them, 1 to us. 5 corners each, 14 fouls each. We had 365 passes to their 304. They had 27 tackles to our 11, which sort of reflects the fact that we had more of the ball. We had more yellow cards and obviously the red card. There's nothing between the teams there. Like, it's taking
crucial moments. It's crucial moments. We've not got, so that's the mentality thing. But I don't know how you coach that. And it's not the manager, by the way, standing shouting and balling at the side touchdown. Fucking concentrate. He did it away. You know what I mean? It's just it's like up to the individuals to do it. I think Joe Newell getting sent off should really make a difference to that. It's just a ball in the fucking box. Joe Newell getting sent off doesn't make Burstick make an absolute cunt of it. Surely not.
No. I think with the whole going down to 10 men. So I didn't agree about you need to sub a player on a yellow card thing, because you can't sub every player that gets booked. And Dundee United managed to have 4 bookings.
Their positions, it's been your centre midfielder, and they're the ones that put the most tackles in the mid.
I can't, but you've got to be able to trust your midfielders on a booking and not get sent off, right? So Joe Newell has to take some of the blame there. I'm reluctant to blame a manager for no stuff. Unless it's like, Cameron, if he's had 3 fouls and he's teetering on the brink, and you can, there's another one coming. But I didn't think Joe Newell was at that stage yesterday. Dundee United had 2 players on bookings, and I think they managed to not get anybody sent off. Motherwell had players booked against us, and didn't get anybody sent off. We need
Why are we so good at that then?
Because it's just bad decision making for the players. But he gets sent off in the 75th minute or something like that, maybe later than that. I
80,
can't,
80 odds.
80
84,
odds.
85. Yeah.
So they get sent off with a few minutes left. You're 2-1 up. You have to see that game out. Like, and again, it should be about the manager going, pointing at the forehead, giving it fucking concentrate. There's need to fucking take a bit of accountability here and go, right, didn't do anything stupid. Goalie, didn't go fucking flying out your box to get a ball that you've no right to come and get. If you're defending, go and make sure you're first to the ball, or no leaving a man's spirit, just let the ball land at his feet to knock it in.
Correct. And we signed players, specifically we were told, that were leaders, captains previously at other teams and all that.
Aye.
One guy that's your captain getting sent off shouldn't make a difference, especially when it's coming down to a defensive thing and we've got fucking ex-captains at centre half.
Aye. Jack C99 said we want our Hibs back, Kensal and Gordon out. Kev B1963 says bottom line on the park performances sit with Gray. Team selections, making strange subs, constantly turning to Campbell, playing one of the worst keepers I've seen in a Hibs jersey, instructing Miller to constantly take long throw-ins which come to nothing. Simple answer. John, what do you think to Kev's point? Or anything that you disagree with?
No.
Campbell's not straight into the Hanlon Stevenson role,
I was going to suggest that earlier, Colin. I forget the person that made the point, but I heard Campbell's name come up, and it is, and actually, it becomes that. I think it was Leon Rose that had once said about Hanlon and Stevenson about familiarity breeds contempt, because he'd obviously been there for like however many appearances at that point, and probably got another 100 more after Leon had made his comment. But Campbell's been around for a while now. He's also been around during underperforming Hibs sides. So is Joe Newell, albeit he had the COVID season where we finished third. And I think it's so to I think Colin, you made the point earlier about sacking a manager. Like, what's that going to achieve? Like, I think all it's going to achieve by getting rid of Newell and Campbell at the moment is it's going to placate people for a couple of weeks, so that player that's been absent. So like we saw some of the conversation over the weekend turn into Dylan Levitt in the number 10. Like, where did that come from?
I had that conversation today, John. A very conversation with a guy. I says, come up. I says, fuck it. Play Levitt for the next 3 weeks and then we can fucking write that experiment off them.
And I think on that point, I think one of the problems that we found ourselves before, if you cast your mind back to the goalkeeping academy that John Hughes had, you had 3 goalkeepers there. One goalkeeper, let's say it was Graham Smith, had a howler. Well, you had Mark Brown, I think, to come in, and I forget who the other one was. Was it Sam Otulski at one point?
I don't know.
Sorry, I missed that name there.
Stack Brown Smith.
I forget the keepers, but it just seemed to be. It was like that flavour of the week. Someone would have a bad game, right? Get the next one in. You would, I don't know, chuck a goal in, for example, right? Let's get the next one in. There was never any. I don't know whether it highlighted that everything about the goalkeepers at that point was shite, or that we can never stick with anything for any period of time.
Okay, right. Tom Wallace said, surely Rocky has to be given a chance. Are we at the stage of just having to look at the squad and seeing who's not had a chance yet and chuck them in?
The thing is, right, so I get where he's coming from, because the defence keep letting goals in, despite us all picking them always in our next team, and thinking they're settling down and all that. But Rocky's been in the end of these conversations before, so it's not a new thing. We're learning here. It's just like we've got to put him in, and as soon as he makes a mistake, we'll be gone. And he's playing fucking Rocky now. He's shite, I know, and everybody kens that, and that's what happened. So I don't know. It's not a new person, is it? It's just somebody else to blame next week.
Kaiser Soze said, can we have the players showing their support for mental health next week? A wee badge on the kit is sound, just in case they feel like showing some fucking accountability. Can't pass, can't shoot, can't defend, and putting a new inexperienced manager in with this band of plums, for fuck's sake. And then Kaiser Soze on the back, it said, has any aspect of the team improved under Gray? John, has any aspect of the team improved under David Gray?
I'm going to echo Colin's comments to a certain degree in saying that, bizarrely, I think one of the things that we've seen over the last few years, I don't know if it was, I I don't know if you'd go as far back as Jack Ross, but there was something that Sean Maloney was trying to do. It wasn't successful, and there was fuck me whatever Lee Johnson was trying to do, and then there was Nick Montgomery possession based playing out for the back, etc. I think we've come away from that sort of style. I think we've gone away and done away with like philosophies and styles and all that sort of stuff. And I think I'm echoing Colin accurately here. I do think that in some of the games, like it looks like we are trying to win a battle first and then trying to win a game second. So it's not about teams sitting in or sitting back and saying, right, you can have loads of the ball and we'll just try and pick you off on the counter attack. That style, for want of a better phrase, has definitely changed. But what we have currently, equally, it's hard to say whether it's going to be effective or not. Like, because I think one of the things that we've been asking for is for players to go and win individual battles. But what we're being let down by is what Colin said. It's the individual errors, and that is something that is equally plagued previous managers of these players as well. So then you come back around to, well, I think the question that you asked earlier for one of the listeners was, is it, do we have bad players? Aye.
I think the midfield's better.
Was?
I think the midfield's better.
Well, when it's Quan and Chiantis or irrespective.
Quan Chiantis been in there. I think we look better with the two in, but obviously we struggle to keep our midfield not getting sent off.
Aye.
When you say it's better, Colin, I kind of like I like the look of those two. I've put them. I described it, I'm sure, at the weekend when we were talking about teams and what have you. But we've still only won one game.
I know.
I don't know how many games those two have played in, but they might be good. They might look good, but collectively, the team with them in it isn't any better.
Aye, I don't know. They played together maybe 3 or 4 times. Won one of them. Run Rangers close. Should have got something in that game, and then lost the others. I just think we're competing better in there.
I mean, we did lose plenty of games last season as well. Let's not forget that we finished 8th because we weren't very good. Pat Fry's image said Chiantis and Newell have cost us 4 points. Miller starting didn't work, but changes made and we got in front. Are the players trying too hard? Goalie should stay in his line but tries to punch it clear. 7 of 14 league goals conceded after the 75th minute, costing us 8 points. Colin, that point about the players trying too hard, I think David Gray alluded to it in his post-match conference where he was asked about the keeper and he says, listen, nobody tries to make the mistake or words to that effect. And basically I think the way that he explained what Bursic was doing was that he was wanting to go and try and affect the game. And is that a case of just players making bad decisions because they are trying too hard, or is that too easy a get out for them?
It could be. It could be try to do things that they're not good enough to do as well. And I guess that's not. We don't see them play. We don't see them train every day, so we don't know if it's that they're not good enough to do it or they're actually doing something out of character because they're thinking they're going to impact the game. He would probably, if he's what a goalie would, what you would want a goalie there to do is either stay on their line, right, or but then we also know like how bad the goalies we've had in the last 15, 20 years have been. And by the way, that comment earlier is the worst goal he's ever seen in the house jersey. Only if you've been coming for the last few seasons, because fuck me, like I didn't get me started on that Bint Zibby. But
that was Zibby-esque, like on yesterday.
It was, and exactly. And I was going to say, but what you want a keeper to do there is either just stay in his line and make the save when the boy they've got an option to really shoot, or come and take it. But he actually went to punch it. So he wasn't even like you just want the goal to take it and land on it and roll about in it for the next 10 seconds until they eventually get up and roll it out to the fullback. So it's just wrong options at the wrong times. It's even like I think Campbell should have taken the ball to the corner at one point, and we ended up losing a goal for it because he never. You know what I mean? It's like it's like wrong options. And I don't want to blame Campbell because I know everybody wants to blame Campbell for everything, but it's like wrong options at the wrong times. It's like we're not. And I was going to say naive, but these boys are like only young boys. We've only got one young boy playing in the team. We've got an experienced, big, fucking powerful team. And they keep making the wrong options. And I don't know, like, I don't know. I mean, maybe maybe it comes down to I'm saying we all know what the team's going to be. We all know there's 9 of 11 or 10 of 11 or whatever we can predict, right? But maybe there's no consequence to them being shite or making the wrong option because there's nobody to come in and replace them because that is the 9 or the 10 that are the best there. They what we've got. So there is no option.
It's a familiar scenario, isn't it, Colin?
Mm.
Like we were here. I'm sure we had this conversation last season. We had it under Lee Johnson about the. I'm sure it'll come up in the Hibs disappointment bingo. Like folk are just too secure in their jobs.
Yeah.
Like there's no real competition for places. Like we were, and to go back to what you were saying earlier about Bashiri, he could come in, but he's also been the guy that's been criticised and pulled up and lambasted for his performances.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Bandy Legs. That's our friend Jake Gapper said you can blame the referee all you want, but the fact that Gray didn't take Newell off, given the way he was refereeing the match, especially after last time out, is criminal. So although I defended Gray for no substituting a player on the booking, there's probably some merit in that argument as well, though, John, isn't it? Like the referee was card happy when it came to Hibs players. He seemed to be penalising us quite readily. And we were a game away from our midfielder going off for 2 yellow cards. Was it naive of Gray not to take him off then with that context around it? I kind of contradicting myself here, but I'm just asking the question.
I don't know. Like
we only got 2 bookings, other than 2 bookings each, other than Newell's 2. Like we got 4, but 2 were Newell's. You know what I mean? So like, it wasn't card happy.
No, all right, yeah, it was maybe a bit
I know,
hyperbole there.
I know Newell divides fan opinion to some extent, but does David Gray manage the team and the game based upon what the referee's doing? Like if he believes, like he's put Newell back in the squad. Newell's club captain. He's put Newell back in the squad at the first opportunity following injury and surgery. So he has to believe that he's going to affect the game in some way. But if the referee's having a shocker, does like is any manager ever substituted a player based upon the way that a referee is refereeing the game? I don't know. I don't know.
You would have to think it's spoken about, like after what happened last week. You would have to have thought in training and the build up to this game, the message is pretty clear. Didn't go and do fucking anything stupid if you're on a booking. Like surely that doesn't need to be spelled out to the players.
So I think so. When you say something stupid, like I go back to the way that I saw the challenge and looking at it back earlier today, it did look worse than it did at the time. But I think he's maybe been clumsy. It's that whole thing about like giving referees decisions, etc. Like he absolutely doesn't have to give the referee a decision to make. There is an opportunity to make a better challenge. There's an opportunity not to put a challenge in. But I think these things all. I don't know if we're judging these things with the benefit of hindsight. Like we're not playing the game, we're not in that moment.
Yeah,
and I think David Gray referred to that in his interview as well. I forget his exact comments. Like I think he was critical of Joe Newell, but also I think he said also like in in the as the game's progressing, that kind of thing.
I think that's right. He got booked that early. He's cut. What was it? 15? Must have been 15 minutes in his first booking, was it? And then his last one was 85, so he's done 70 minutes without getting booked. And by that time we're 2-1 up. So then if he stubbed him at that point and he took him off when we're 2-1 up, imagine the criticism he would have got if they were to lose the game.
Because that's been the criticism previously, hasn't it? That I think it was at the Dundee game there was the substitution that David Gray made where it was suggested that he invited Dundee onto Hibs and we folded. So if he doesn't do that again, he's also
not there for something else.
Aye. And I guess like maybe these harsh lessons, like maybe he could go on to become a good manager for us.
Okay, Andrew Brown said, why do we have the same issues with losing shite goals and being soft? New manager, new recruitment team, but yet same shite goals lost and the ability to hold a lead. We'll be celebrating our 150th in the championship at this rate. Ian Toghill said, "Where do we go from here?" Said at the start of the season we would probably be in a relegation battle. Now I think it's certain we won't win next week, and even if by some miracle we did, paint and cracks come to mind. Are we relegation candidates, guys? What do you think?
I think we are at the moment.
Is there anything, John, giving you optimism to think that we're not?
Blind faith.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. With the listeners, we had a conversation last night with some of the guys of down the slope, and I'd suggested that because I think people refer to 2014, but 2014 wasn't just its own season; it was the culmination of a number of factors. And you've got folk at the club admitting that they've made mistakes over since they bought the club. So I don't know. It certainly looks like history is repeating itself. Like you could even look at Frank Soze, fans' favourite, just needing a point, all that sort of stuff. Like we've got David Gray in charge, like David Gray, club legend, scorer, blah blah blah. Doesn't really make any that doesn't win you points on the day. So I don't think having him in charge will save us from relegation. I don't think my concern is that any manager right now, as we've been having this conversation for a number of years, I don't think any manager would be capable of saving us from relegation right now, because I think the hallmarks are there for a relegation season.
See,
being 2-1 ahead, and like to your point, Colin, about losing Joe Newell, we then just went and chucked it. Like that was I don't think we deserved to be 2-1 up. We should have been 2-1 down, but for them being offside. But we found ourselves fortunately ahead, with potentially getting 3 points that we probably shouldn't have been getting. And then we ended up with a result that it looked like we were going to get.
I thought we would have been worth it. I see if the game had finished 2-1. Like, see if it had panned out the way that it did after, like, Joe Newell stays on the pitch and we just see that game out 2-1. I think that performance is viewed very differently by everybody. I think the capitulation totally changes how you view the game. But I think we went in front, and I thought we deserved to be in front. I thought we were the better team up to that point. And I think if we're probably talking about the total opposite type of character, because we talk about a team that has dug out a result, they've come from behind, a bit of adversity, which we've not been good at coping with recently. If we'd seen that game out at 2-1, I think we're having a bit obviously you're happy because you won, but I think you've viewed the overall performance better. I don't think it would have been undeserved.
But at the same time, as well.
But at the same time, I don't think we can say we deserve to take anything for the game based on the way that we capitulated. That last part of the game is massive, and it's right that should skew how you view it, because we fucking folded. But I think I don't know. I just disagree with that wee part of it, John. I thought had we won 2-1 based on how the game had gone up to that point, because the boy was offside. Like, you defenders playing offside line. We weren't lucky that Middleton was offside. Players played the line.
Back, same amount of shots on target. All that. The possession was fairly even. We actually had more of it. All that kind of stuff. So if we had won that 2-1, we would have won that in the came from behind, tough moments, tough character, mentality, blah blah blah. But actually, it was opposite.
But I think
it showed that.
But I think taking all those things into account, the hallmarks, as I see them, of relegation material are exactly that. When you find yourself even, when you don't get the points that you should get, these things, I don't know how to describe them in football. Like, they're just
you're right, John.
Almost unwritten things.
It's like you never get the luck. The referee's always against that. So when we got to get a break of the ball, that's what you say when you're going to like always. Every team feels like that, and that is just bang on.
Aye, definitely. Couldn't agree more. Neil said, can we stop pretending Cadden is a winger, and can we stop pretending Newell is any good? OJ said, I can't believe we signed 2 keepers in the summer and both are utter dog shite. Also, Lewis Miller needs dropped. Dave Thompson says, keeper ain't the number 1 in this league. Goalkeeper, is it a problem issue for us now, by the way?
We wrote the second one off because he played against Kelly Hearts.
I think
I
that
haven't even seen him. I was on holiday. It was still summer. It was fucking. It wasn't even football season. And we've written the playoff. I've come back from a holiday. And everybody's like, nice pitch. And I'm like, when did he fucking play?
I think he's written off because he's not been a number one. I think he's, if I'm right in saying, I think he's been a number two. No, number two, that's a right back. But he's second choice goalie. All his days. So I think for the fact that we've signed him as like a backup goalie as well, and he's not getting in ahead of the boy who everybody's writing off from what they've seen of him, is quite telling. Stephen Bell said Levitt and Campbell coming on for the bench and Ewan failing to make an appearance yet again today. What is the point in having such a dangerous player in the squad to not even use him? Difficult to see how the blame for that can't be put squarely on Gray, in my opinion. Eli Ewan, the last two games, has been in the squad and has not featured. You look at the players, as Stephen mentioned, like Levitt and Campbell coming on ahead of him. Is there an argument that David Gray's not helping himself by continuing not to play Eli Ewan but still including him in the squad?
Helping to create a lot of noise, isn't it? The thing is, if he brings them on, and like when you've got the folks saying get one of his best players we've got, right, and then you've got the folks saying, "Fuck's sake, he's lazy as anything." So whatever one he picks, there's going to be we're going to get noise either way on the podcast, right? Because if he came on and we got beat, it would have probably been his fault yesterday because he never tried back or something.
I think I'd suggested that previously, Colin, with the Motherwell game. Like if you put him on, I mean, obviously, like it's when I was talking about the Motherwell game, I can't remember when it was that Triantis got sent off, but I suggested that if you put Ewan on at that point, if he doesn't score and get Hibs back in the game, then it's his fault. Like that would be the view of some people, and that would have been exactly the same yesterday. So I wonder if Gray's maybe done him a favour by not throwing him into the lion's den, as it were.
But then he's not deprive him of the opportunity to go make a difference. Like, I don't know. I think it's a difficult one. We spoke about it before. I think it's one of Gray's toughest challenges is what he does by Eli Ewan, because on his day, cracking player, but he's not used to as if he's warming up for 90 minutes and then never getting on the pitch.
There was just sorry about in there that just on not on your Eli Ewan, but it might be linked to it in a way. But I was just thinking during a previous point that I'm saying about the manager and all that. And I think looking back now, you go, why did we not appoint either an experienced manager, right, or a David Gray with an experienced assistant? Instead, we've got a couple of guys he's played with and that or whatever, but we've not got that old head there to be able to help direct things like this, deflect some of this. So you could even send him out to do the press and that at times. But even like the Ewan, to come on to the Ewan point, like he's maybe seen this scenario before and got ideas. And we're kind of went in full-blooded on the inexperience rather than and because folk were calling it's not hindsight really. Like, well, I'm not saying for me, but hindsight for anybody, because it was we need an experienced manager, we need an experienced manager, we need an experienced manager, get McInnes, right, all that. But if you can't do that and you want to give Gray the job, right, fine, and we were behind that, or that's something that was right. But why not give him some help with an experienced, proven Scottish game assistant manager?
I think I was having this conversation with Hibs earlier on. I think obviously I'm saying this without having witnessed any of them up close, so I don't care how accurate this is, but I think his backroom team are an issue in that he's brought in Liam Craig. Now, I don't care how much Liam Craig's coaching David Gray's seen. Like they might have been on some courses together, but
can you talk about the relegated order? You did, well done. You got in the best of the relegation side.
But I don't know, like what Liam Craig has done in the game as a coach to warrant him getting a job at Hibs. Eddie May obviously has been at the club for a long time, very well thought of at the club. But if you look back to his period as a manager, like if you remember back in the day, he was the Falkirk manager. My memories of being the Falkirk manager was just him slaughtering folk. He was very straight talking, then saying he didn't like it, and then he didn't want to be a manager again. And then I think he went into sort of youth football beyond that. And then Samson was like Gray will have seen him coach him to an extent because he was the goalkeeper coach where Jack Ross was there. As David Gray was transitioning from player into the coaching team. But I don't think there's tons of experience here because Samson was a relatively new coach at that point. It's not that long ago that he was playing. So I don't know about the quality in terms of coaching and being able to sort of understand how to change games or set teams up exists there to support David Gray with his backroom team.
Yeah.
And I think I do think it's an issue. And I mean, John Collins did it with Tommy Craig, and although that famously didn't work out, if you mind him doing like the press conference with the fucking Apple, I mean, what a shambles that was. But just because it's no work with one doesn't mean it's the wrong thing to do. Loads of managers bring in, like new managers bring in somebody with experience to work alongside them. And I think that's really missing. And I don't think it's right that they expect Malcolm Mackay to fulfil that role because Malcolm Mackay's job is a full-time job on its own. He shouldn't be there to handhold the manager. Fair enough, have a meeting with him, be there to kind of run a few things by him. But Malcolm Mackay shouldn't be managing by proxy. David Gray's a head coach. Like that, they're clearly different roles. And I think that's a problem that David Gray's got as well, is I don't think he's got a strong enough coaching setup behind him. Right, time for one more.
Go for it.
So, I shall get to because Joanne's is more. I think this is more of a hypothetical one. She just asked, "Where do you start with that shit?" And so the last one, aka Rab, says, "Do you see a situation in the near future where there will be pressure from Foley and the BK group? The board can't get away with constant failure and just throwing managers under the bus. It's obviously more than just a coach issue." So we were talking about protests earlier, and obviously that was the idea of the fans' protest. But do you think the minority shareholders will be starting to make a bit of a noise because their investment's heading south?
Yeah, be the obvious.
Yeah. I think that's reasonable.
How they go about it, I guess they would do it behind. They wouldn't be like phoning us up to say, "Can you help that mob down to HDC or to the West Stand?" But I'm sure they'd be doing it through the board, the channels that they've got in place. But how they can they withdraw their money? Is that what shares?
No, I mean that's it. The money's in and spent. Like they can't do that. But I suppose they're both on the board. I wonder if so. There's Foley and Caswell are the two directors for the Black Knights that are on it. I wonder if they could do like a vote of no confidence. Can you get that in boardrooms and that if they just decide that enough's enough and we're cause a bit of fucking a stushy here? I wonder if they're
I guess
that
they wouldn't just do that though. You know what I mean? They're professional people. They would probably try and do it through conversation, negotiation, discussion before they would get to that stage. That's almost like a last resort, isn't it?
Yeah. Aye, there's an amicable way to do it, isn't there? Like a collaborative way to do it, which I would guess they would explore first. But
because that could harm their investment even more.
Definitely. Anyway, right, we're out of time. I enjoyed that actually. Good conversation, good talking points this week, folks, as well. Some really good ones there. I suppose we'll have quite a lot to talk about next time tomorrow. We'll probably pick up a bit more on the situation that Hibs are in and the dangers of relegation. We'll also have a derby to look forward to, in inverted commas, next weekend.
We'll have a derby.
We'll have a derby. Aye, that's happening. Unless we can get a pandemic going in the next sort of couple of days, we're on track for a derby.
We get at that point though, we can't.
Oh, right enough. I didn't do that. It's a stupid idea.
Demoted, sorry.
Demoted, whatever it was. Right. So, if you want to have your say on events, and I guess people will want to do that, have a look on our Patreon. You can get a free trial on there as well. We'll be posting Zoom details up for Thursday's phone in. It'd be great to get as many people as possible. Only John turned up, not John that's on tonight, but other John turned up, and I guess that was because we were in the middle of an international week. He's normally quite busy on the phone in. But we'd love to see you there, get your views on it, and obviously it was a difficult period for the club, so. Come on, get your voice be heard. You don't have to spend any money on it. You can go and check out Patreon, get the free trial. You'll see the Zoom details on there on Wednesday. And then if you want to stick around and continue to subscribe, you're more than welcome to it. It's only a couple of quid. Or there also gets posted out on our YouTube members page as well. So if you're watching this on YouTube, there should be a wee option to join the channel as a member. And you'll get access to our subscription content on there as well. In the meantime, John, Colin, thanks very much for your time this evening. It's been good to hear you, Colin, and to see and hear you, John. And
Thank you.
we will see you next time.
Well, they trailed me down when I broke free. I drank all the whiskey in Tennessee.